And yeah, just eked that video out in time. Yes. Whew. Oh, thank God. Look, I know there's a good amount of shit I've missed so far this year. What hasn't been Patreon requested, I'll try to get to later. But man, I did not want to be tardy on this one. When I heard McCafferty was going to go ahead and grace us with another full length, after the success behind their crazy good EP, Thanks Sorry Sure, yeah man, I was psyched to hear that. I flat out said I would have chipped in to any crowdfunding campaign to help these guys get a sophomore release out, and not only did they end up eventually doing it, but I didn't have to pay a bloody red cent. Woo! Yeah, that's my kind of Indiegogo. What'd it do? So, how does it stack up? Stacks up pretty damn well, actually. Pretty much everything I loved about Thanks, Sorry, Sure, and their other releases since then, yes, I know about those, don't at me, is on here. Evan Graham and Nick Hartkop trade some really furious riff work, Wes Easterly is banging out some very high quality beats, and everything is well supported with Chris Jenkins' beefy and proficient bass work. The album opens really goddamn strong with Loser, Paper Pencil Copyright, and the title track. The alt-rocky, folk-punky, at times even pop-punky sound we've gotten from them on records past is still here, and it's still as full, rich, and vivid as ever. And Hartkop's trademark sardonic lyrics and catchy vocal harmonies hook you in nice and early. Are you into lots of whoas in your punk music? Then homeboy, you came to the right place. It all starts out really fun and catchy and bouncy and wonderful, and I was loving it. But then around track 4, Strain, I noticed something kinda change. It was really subtle at first. The guitar work started to get a little more heavy and raw on that track. The mood just starts getting a little darker and denser. Even Hartkop's lyrics start to go from cheekily snide to a bit more full negative. I hope I die, I hope I'm high, I hope that flowers rain down from the fucking sky. He yelps along, letting his voice full-blown break at certain points. It's a bit more intense than I was expecting, but not out of character by any means. Sauerkraut goes on, and Nick screams aloud, "Do you hang with your friends? Do they still play with handguns?" Mary Z tells a story about how they leave bodies in ditch, they love quivering lips, they love violence and terror. God, I hope you don't change? See, things just keep getting darker and more depressing until we finally hit songs like It's A with its downright dour acoustic melodies, haunting synth work, and lyrics discussing either a pregnancy or an abortion or a suicide attempt or possibly all three. I don't know. It's dark, and Westboro Sadness goes on with an absolutely chilling opera singer / echoey piano intro that explodes into menacing power chords, but it has Harktop shrieking his vocals at the top of his voice and shrieking lyrics such as, "You know football players always get away with rape." Yeah, remember on the last EP when we had goofy covers of Keen songs and fake-ass infighting and Jerry Springer shit thrown in for shits and giggles? Wasn't that fun? Well, flush your shit and pack up all your giggles because this thing gets dark by the end. Tonal shift, tonal whiplash, this is tonal tidal wave. It's not what I was expecting to hear, to say the least. I mean, McCafferty wasn't always the goofiest band by any means, but, by the time Westboro Sadness kicks in, I cannot be the only one who felt like Brad Pitt had spliced in some nice big cock into our fun little punk album. Is that just me? That cannot possibly just be me. Though it did really sneak up on me, I will say it's not something I didn't enjoy. Actually, I was really intrigued by the end of it. McCafferty pulled somewhat of a bait and switch on us here. And I've seen bands attempt something like that, and really cock it up, but even when they shut off the lights, don all the black, and get all spooky on us, the songwriting proficiency, the terrific instrumentation, the searing lyrics and melodies, they're all still present and accounted for. It's just a much different flavor of McCafferty. But it's a McCafferty that is still quite tasty. I really do have to give them props for having the balls to experiment like this and still make it sound compelling and interesting. Like, this could have backfired greatly. In fact, I think with some of the more stubborn listeners out there, it might kind of throw you out of things, if I'm being 100% honest, but I enjoyed it. I'm just saying, if you're gonna go into this, please go into it with as open of a mind as you can. If you just want to hear a longer version of Thanks, Sorry, Sure, go out and buy that album and just spin it twice. This record has a much different set of ideas and goals behind it, but to its credit, it has some very good ideas, and I feel like they accomplished all their goals. I really don't know how much more stuff we're going to be getting out of this band. They've already broken up a few times now from what I hear, and from what I can tell, they aren't one of those bands that likes to do the same thing twice. Bands this weird, wonderful, experimental, and chaotic usually don't stay with us for terribly long, but hey, better they make what little music they can and continue to wow us with their innovations and their bravery than to just refine their one or two good tricks into something so smoothed out, bland, and repetitive that the old flame that made them great suffocates and flickers out before they do, so they end up having to scramble and try any old random ass thing to help imitate their former glory under the disguise of innovation, like other bands I could potentially name. It might not be what you expected it to be, but I say it's a ride still worth taking. Heartily recommended. Yarn gets 4.5 crocheting needles out of 5.